Do you admit then that you intentionally misled the CPS workers regarding the cause of the injury to child Felix's face, which happened as a result of you throwing a phone?
Yes, ma'am, I admit.
I'm a foster care supervisor at the Department of Health and Human Services, currently overseeing this case.
All right. And as to the documents identified by the court and admitted into the record, are you familiar with them?
Yes.
All right. Since we're here on disposition for Mr. Alan Stevens, can you tell us what plan has been created for purposes of reunification with his child, Felix Stevens?
So currently, Mr. Stevens's plan is pretty bare bones, due to some inability to assess certain dynamics, specifically his parenting skills as it would relate to Felix. Mr. Stevens has not participated in any parenting time or contact with Felix. Therefore, we're unable to properly assess the domain of parenting skills. He does have seem to have some strengths as noted throughout the PATP. He appears to be in a healthy relationship. He appears, by his own report, to have good social support system. He does communicate with the department. He has adequate housing, which he has allowed DHHS to visit for home visits recently. There's no apparent intellectual delays or resource barriers. He is employed and appears to have adequate income to meet his household needs. No reported physical issues. So the only thing we were able to assess at this point with the information we had as a need would be child characteristics. So involving himself essentially in the care of Felix. So attending and participating in any of his medical or other therapies that are recommended for him so that he has an understanding of Felix's needs in terms of looking at reunification. Like I said, though, Mr. Stevens has not chosen to participate in any parenting time. So his stance to the department has consistently been that he does not believe he is Felix's biological father and that he's not wanting to participate in reunification services or parenting time until a DNA test can be completed. The department has reiterated that he is the legal father, and therefore the department does not offer DNA testing. So we're a little bit at a standstill when it comes to that issue.
So Mr. Stevens has not had any contact with the child the entire case?
Correct.
All right. But you said he does communicate with the department regarding a plan for reunification.
He communicates with the department in terms of consistently expressing that he does not want to participate in parenting time or efforts for reunification without a DNA test having been completed establishing him as biological father. He seems to understand that he is the legal father, but like I said, is not interested in any parenting time thus far. So there's not really any movement in terms of reunification planning at this point. Without parenting time, we're not able to assess if there's any barriers to his ability to parent Felix or meet his needs.
All right. The parent agency treatment plan indicates that he is able to read and communicate. This is Dad.
Yeah, as far as we're aware, there's no barriers in that area. He does text with Miss Lucy, the assigned worker.
All right. And then he does have pretty stable employment as a cook.
Yes, he reports consistent income.
All right. And then he has a place to live, an apartment.
He has allowed Miss Lucy to verify his housing. Yes.
Okay. So we have a plan here. However, if I got this right, let me know that Mr. Stevens has not really given the department a lot of information to come up with a more detailed plan.
Correct. Without being able to establish a relationship, well, contact really, but furthermore, a relationship and the ability for Felix and Mr. Stevens to create a bond, we're not really able to move forward.
And you are asking the court to adopt there were 4 parent agency treatment plans, and you're asking the court to adopt those as the plan for reunification?
They're all pretty similar. I would rely on the most recent treatment plan period, which is 10/7/2025 to 12/30/2025. We will have an updated report again in, I think it's March. But the October to December 2025 report is the most recent. Like I said, it's pretty bare bones in terms of how to assist with reunification because of the lack of contact. I do anticipate that if contact can occur that between Mr. Stevens and Felix, then we would probably be updating this plan in future reports. So right now the only need domain is child characteristics, essentially him being involved in Felix, his needs day to day in order to understand how to parent him. And like I said, we can't assess beyond that, can't assess parenting skills one way or the other. It's marked in our system. It doesn't show on the report, but it's marked as unable to score due to lack of contact.
Is parenting time offered between Mr. Stevens and his son?
Yeah, Miss Lucy consistently checks in with Mr. Stevens to see if, he's changed his mind at all, if he wants us to schedule anything. But he has consistently voiced that he is not interested in arranging any kind of contact at this time.
All right. Can you tell us the child is in placement with who?
Yes, he's placed with all of his siblings. And he's doing very well. He's placed in a relative placement.
All right. Are all of his needs being met there?
They are. Yep. He has consistent therapy as recommended by his medical team at DeVos. And he is behind on immunizations, but when DeVos recommends, he'll be getting updated on those.
And do we know, has Mr. Stevens, has he ever met Felix, his son?
Off the top of my head, I believe when he was very young, but it's been an extended period of time that he has not had contact.
And really, historically, based on the allegations in the petition and Mr. Stevens' plea, it was a lack of contact and not providing proper care and custody that brought us to this disposition today. Do you agree with that?
That's correct. From what Mr. Stevens has shared, it's consistently been the concern of whether or not he's the biological father that has prevented him from caring for Felix.
All right. Would you like to offer anything else this afternoon?
I don't think so.
All right. Thank you. Nothing further, Judge.
Mr. Brown,
No questions, Your Honor.
Ms. Hansel.
No questions.
All right, Mr. Delaney.
Just a brief follow-up on the parentage issue. And I think you testified to it, but it's in the petition that Mr. Stevens did sign an affidavit of parentage. Is that correct?
To my knowledge, he did. And to my knowledge, he is the legal father.
All right. And is that document in the possession of the department, or were you just advised of it, or do you know?
I don't recall offhand. I would have to do some digging in the file to verify.
All right. At your convenience, can you see if you could obtain that document and circulate that to counsel?
I can certainly try. I would just note, though, in prior court hearings that he was identified as the legal father. So I'm inclined to believe that that document was in fact signed and produced. I'm not sure if Ms. Sullivan, as the CPS worker, would know offhand.
As to that affidavit, have you had an opportunity to speak with Mr. Stevens about that? Does he deny signing it? Or had you not spoken to him and maybe Ms. Sullivan's the person to speak to?
I have not spoken with him directly about that. My understanding from Miss Lucy is that he does not deny signing it, that he acknowledges he signed it, but that he does not believe that he should make reunification efforts without a DNA test proving that he's the biological father.
All right, thank you.
Ms. Benzu, has anybody spoken to Mr. Stevens about paying for his own DNA testing?
We have not, Your Honor.
Does MDHHS plan to terminate parental rights in the future if he continues to not have contact with Felix?
I think, yes, we would be left in a position where if he's not willing to make efforts to reunify, we would have to consider a goal change.
I have no further questions. Anybody else have any questions based on mine?
No, thank you, Judge.
No, thank you.
All right. Any further witnesses or evidence, Mr. Sommerfeld?
No, thank you, Judge.
Mr. Brown, witnesses or evidence?
Hey, Your Honor, I did not have an opportunity to speak with Mr. Stevens. His voicemail box is full. I did send a text message. I believe I heard Ms. Fensu state that he can text. So I don't know if he wants to speak or not. I would give you that opportunity, Mr. Stevens, if you would like to be sworn in, and I'll just ask you one quick question.
That's fine.
All right. Raise your right hand, Mr. Stevens. Swear the testimony you're about to give will be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth, so help you God.
Yes, sir.
All right, go ahead and put your hand down. Mr. Brown, go ahead.
Mr. Stevens, you've heard the testimony so far, correct?
Yeah.
And is the testimony as you've heard it accurate?
Yeah.
Thank you. I have no further questions, Your Honor.
Let's see. Mr. Delaney, questions of this witness?
Just a couple of follow-up questions, just for the record. And Mr. Stevens, I'm counsel for the children in this case. And for the record, you were never married to Courtney Self, is that correct?
That's correct.
Did you sign an affidavit of parentage? Do you know what that form is?
I think I did. I'm pretty sure. It was a very hectic time when he was born and a lot of stuff was going on.
The court asked a question of the prior witness about whether you might get an independent blood test to make a determination. Is that something that you're considering doing?
We were in the middle of it with my last lawyer, but then when we were getting ready to go forward with it, she, I guess, left her firm, and that left me without a lawyer.
Okay. And you can see the importance of the court's question. We want to know, we want to be sure, and so that you're the father of the child. And do you plan on following up with that? I certainly, as the guardian, don't want to leave that as an unresolved legal issue. What do you think you'll be following up on this?
I'd like to do the DNA test. I just wasn't sure how to go about it.
All right. I have no further questions. Thank you.
Ms. Hansel, questions for this witness?
No questions.
Mr. Sommerfeld, questions for this witness?
No, thank you, Judge.
All right, Mr. Stevens, I'm not going to ask you any questions. I'm just going to tell you what I'd like you and your counsel to do. I'd like you to meet with your counsel, whether over the phone or in person is up to you. But I need you to discuss moving forward, either with some sort of DNA testing or with your participation. And if you want to have the DNA testing done first, Mr. Brown can certainly contact MDHHS for avenues to assist in doing that. It may end up being that you have to pay for it, given the circumstances of the case with signing the affidavit of parentage, but they may be able to assist you with how that practically gets accomplished. The other side of it I need you to discuss is termination of parental rights. It may be not in your best interest to just simply wait and have a termination of parental rights done, because it may impact your relationship with other children in the future if you had that on your record. Mr. Brown can certainly discuss that further with you, but I'd like you to have that conversation with him so that next time we're in court, you have the ability to make a decision about where you want to go. Do you understand what I'm asking you to do, sir?
Yes, sir.
All right, thank you very much. Mr. Brown, any other witnesses or evidence that you have?
No, Your Honor. Thank you.
I'm kind of lost track. So Ms. Hansel, any witnesses or evidence that you have?
No, sir.
All right, have I asked everybody?
I'd like to call Ann Sullivan, if I could, briefly.
Certainly. Ms. Sullivan, you swear the testimony you're about to give will be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth, so help you God?
I do.
Thank you very much. Go ahead, Mr. Delaney.
Can you help us track down an affidavit of parentage? Do you know anything about it?
I personally have not seen the affidavit of parentage, but I do have a copy of the birth certificate, which I know that's not always the same, but he is listed as the father on the birth certificate. I did just look that up.
All right, and if you, at your convenience, if you could circulate that to council, and
Yes.
that would probably help Mr. Brown get started on anything that he's going to be doing. I don't have any further questions. I do have a guardian report when the court's ready.
Go ahead, Mr. Delaney.
The foster mother is here, Judge, and as indicated, she has all 4 children. Hopefully I'll pronounce all the names correctly. Legion is a boy, he's 12. Linka and Loki are twins, boy and girl, they're age 6. And then Felix, Mr. Stevens's purported child, that's a boy, he's 4. She's had these kids since March of 2025, so we're a year into this thing. She has 3 children of her own, which puts her on the short list for sainthood. I told her that, and when she got the kids, Felix was behind in speech and physically behind, and she's done a good job to get him back up to speed. The twins, the Linka and Loki, were held back in kindergarten for some educational reasons, and the children were almost all of them underweight when she got them, but she's really restored some of that. The recent parenting time has been a little concerning for her, and if it continues to be concerning, she's going to contact the department. It's supervised now, but she's going to contact the department to see what can be done to address that. So I don't mean to make that a looming threat for any of the parents, but she wants to see a stable environment here. I know Ms. Venzu just had her hand up, so maybe she can add to that. But other than that, I mean, the kids had some trauma and there was some outbursts when she first got them, but she really seems to be moving well along with them. But just the note is we're a year in, and so the clock is going to be ticking on this. But I did want to thank for her exceptional efforts here. Thank you.
I would echo those sentiments. I do want to say thank you to foster mom for all the time, effort, and energy that you're putting into that. And I do see that the kids are doing well while they're in your care. So thank you very much. We do appreciate that. Any other evidence that anybody has, Ms. Venzu?
I just wanted to, excuse me, I just wanted to clarify, Your Honor, that the current parenting time order is that in-person is suspended and visits are only occurring supervised virtually through virtual conferencing or phone. I would offer that it has been very inconsistent despite a schedule from Ms. Self. And so I believe that the inconsistency is the main barrier in having those be productive and healthy for the children.
Thank you very much for that clarification. All right. Mr. Sommerfeld, closing statements?
Yes, Judge, since this is date and time for disposition, I'd ask the court to adopt the recommendation. There were several parent agency treatment plans identified. However, Ms. Venzu stated the report period of October 7th, 2025 through December 30th of 2025 is the most recent and up to date, and that should be our guiding principle here as the starting point for this plan of reunification. Judge, I'm glad the court brought up an issue about DNA, or this could lead to termination of parental rights. Another option, and again, this could be discussed with Mr. Brown, would be a voluntary release. Although it's not a good thing, I don't think it has the same weight as an involuntary termination. So, but right now, this is reunification. If there is no engagement in services for whatever reason, ultimately the department, like Ms. Benzu said, we will have to switch over and start looking at the child's permanency as the guiding factor rather than returning the child back to the dad. Thank you.
Thank you. Mr. Brown?
Your Honor, no closing arguments. I would like Mr. Stevens, I don't know if he has a new phone number, but contact has been fairly difficult. So Mr. Stevens, you don't always need to wait for me to call. You can always reach out, leave a voicemail, do whatever you need to do, okay?
All right, Ms. Hansel, anything as to this review? It's mostly on Dad, I understand, but
I would have nothing to add on this. There hasn't been testimony about my client and she hasn't testified, so no, I have nothing to
all
add.
right, thank you. Mr. Delaney, anything else to add?
Just briefly, obviously the child is 4, and that's a pivotal consideration. The child either be reunified or that a different direction be looked at. Thank you.
All right. The court will adopt the recommendations that Felix remain in the care, custody, and supervision of MDHHS. And again, court wishes to thank foster care provider for the good work that's being done there. We will also state that or order that Alan, Mr. Stevens, participate in and show benefit from his parent agency treatment plan. And that would be the one the current one from October through December of 2025. And then I'm going to make one additional order simply that Mr. Stevens and his counsel, Mr. Brown, have contact and discuss DNA testing, termination of parental rights, and as Mr. Sommerfeld indicated, the potential for release as to the child. I'm not dictating that any specific action be taken, but I am going to require you to have a long conversation between counsel and Mr. Stevens about those issues, and then to contact MDHHS or the court with where you want to go and what you want to do. If it's simply to continue the normal course of action, that's fine. If he wishes to have DNA testing, that's fine. If he wishes to terminate his parental rights, either voluntarily or involuntarily, that's fine as well. I just simply want everybody to be advised what the plan of action is going forward, so we're not kind of left in limbo. And I'd like to have that accomplished within the next 30 days if we could do that. So Mr. Brown and Mr. Stevens, if you could plan accordingly, and then Mr. Brown, if you'd make the notifications thereafter, I'd appreciate that.
Yes, sure.
All right. As to the review hearing, that is all on that. We will now move to the pretrial on mom. Ms. Hansel, how is it that you would like to move forward with this case at this time?
Your Honor, we do have a plea I think we have agreed to. I would like to talk to my client and to the prosecutor, maybe in a breakout room. I don't know if that's appropriate right at this time due to the court's docket, but I believe we have something that we can agree on. So I'd like to, I have not been able to personally contact my client, but she's here today. So I would like to at least set up an opportunity to talk with her and with the prosecutor. I believe we have an agreement.
All right. My next case is not till 2:30. All right. I do believe we have a little bit of time right now at the moment. So let's strike while the iron is hot.
Okay.
My next case is not until 2:30. So I can give you about 15 minutes, and then we'd have 15 minutes to take care of whatever else we would need to do in this case before the next one starts. Just you and your client in the breakout room. Is that what you're asking for, Ms. Hansel?
I would ask for Mr. The prosecutor.
Mr. Sommerfeld?
Yes.
All right. So we'll put Mr. Sommerfeld, Ms. Hansel, and Ms. Self in a breakout room so where they can talk privately. The court will then simply go off the record until everybody's back so everybody can take a little bit of a break. We'll give you approximately 10 or 15 minutes to accomplish that, and then we'll be back on the record. So court will be in recess. We'll put the appropriate parties in the breakout room, and everybody else can take a break for about 10, 15 minutes. Thank you. Mr. Sommerfeld and Ms. Self are back from their breakout room. Do we have a resolution of this matter, Ms. Hansel?
We do, Your Honor.
And what is that resolution?
We have verbiage for a plea which the prosecutor accept. We believe it covers everything. My client is willing to accept responsibility for it, and we're seeking now the next steps in which she will work with the agency on regaining custody of her children.
Judge, Ms. Hansel has 3 items that she will ask her client. Ms. Hansel will then put that in writing, send it to me, and then I will forward it to Mr. Delaney and the court. We would ask that be attached and incorporated by reference, much like we do with mediation agreements. But for purposes of today and historically, not having everybody here to actually do something, we would like to accomplish the plea today through that process, even though we don't have it written down and the court's looking at it. Ms. Hansel has gone over that with Ms. Self, and she has agreed to that language. And Ms. Hansel will question Ms. Self regarding that. She will make admissions, and that would be after the court advises Ms. Self of her rights under MCR 3.971.
All right, Ms. Self, you have heard what the lawyers have said. Is that what you want to do?
Yes, Your Honor.
Let me tell you what your rights are so that you can make an informed decision. Right now, if you wish to enter into this agreement, you'd be giving up your right to have a trial and all of the rights that would go along with a trial. Those would include the right to have your attorney represent you at a trial, the right to have a trial by a judge or by a jury, the right to have the petitioner prove the allegations by a preponderance of the evidence, the right to have witnesses appear and testify, and to cross-examine witnesses, and to get an order from the court called a subpoena to require your own witnesses to testify. In addition to that, you could testify or you could not at your choice. In addition to that, there would be some consequences of your plea as well that I want you to understand. If you enter a plea, that would be a matter of court record, and that could be used against you again at subsequent or later court hearings, up to and including a termination of parental rights hearing if that were ever to be a possibility. If your parental rights are subsequently terminated, and I'm not saying that they are going to be, but just I'm required to advise you of that, you'd also continue to have your obligation to provide child support until that is ended by court order. Do you understand all of those things?
Yes, Your Honor.
Judge, could we
All right.
place Ms. Self under oath, and also the department, and I would ask the court, as far as reading the petition, the department would waive that, but I'd ask that all parties be asked that question.
Thank you. Ms. Self, if you raise your right hand, please. Swear the testimony you're about to give will be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth, so help you God.
I do.
All right, thank you very much. The last, I've just gone through giving you your trial rights and your plea rights. Do you understand all of those rights that I've just recently given to you?
Yes, Your Honor.
Do you have any questions about any of those rights?
No, Your Honor.
Do you need any additional time to speak with them about speak with your attorney about those rights?
No, Your Honor.
All right, and the last right that you have is what are called your appellate rights. Appellate review is available to challenge any errors in this process called the adjudication, that is the taking of the plea. You have the right to the appointment of an attorney and to the preparation of transcripts. And if you go through this process and don't timely appeal, you would lose the ability to contest the court taking jurisdiction. That is, you'd be giving up your right to say that the court didn't properly take power or control over the case. Do you understand that?
Yes, Your Honor.
Knowing all of that, is it still your desire to enter a plea as the attorneys have talked about for today's purposes?
Yes, sir.
All right. The attorney for the Department of Health and Human Services has said that he does not wish to have the petition read to you. Do you wish me to read the petition to you, or are you satisfied that you understand what's in the petition?
I understand what's in the petition. Thank you, sir.
All right, Ms. Hansel, do you approve of your client's waiving of the reading of the petition?
I do.
All right. At this point, it appears that we need to have the factual basis established. Ms. Hansel, do you have some questions for that purpose?
I do. Yes, sir.
Go ahead now, please.
And so, Courtney, do you admit then that you intentionally misled the CPS workers regarding the cause of the injury to child Felix's face, which happened as a result of you throwing a phone?
Yes, ma'am. I admit.
Okay. And do you further admit that there's been a lack of progress in maintaining your housing, employment, mental health care for Felix, and transportation?
I admit.
Okay. And lastly, do you admit there was a conviction of the fourth degree child abuse in Otsego County against you on July 31st, 2025 involving these children? That's all we have, Your Honor.
All right, Mr. Sommerfeld, do you believe that there's a proper factual basis for the court to take jurisdiction in this matter?
Yes, Judge, I believe both parts of the statute, 2B1 and 2B2, would be met by this. I don't know if it was my connection. Mom's last statement regarding question 3, did the court hear an affirmative? Mine was a little garbled.
I saw her nod and it appeared to be to me, but I'll ask Ms. Self, you are in fact admitting that there was a child abuse in the 4th degree conviction July 31st of 25 involving the same child. Is that correct?
Yes, Your Honor, I do admit.
All right, thank you very much. I appreciate that. All right, the court will in fact accept the plea, does find that it was knowingly, intelligently, and voluntarily given. It does appear to meet the requirements of MCL 712A.2B involving the 2 paragraphs in the petition as outlined, and therefore the court will accept that. We will then refer the matter for dispositional hearing in the future in the preparation of the appropriate reports by MDHHS. Ms. Self, I'm going to ask that you continue to participate in that process with MDHHS as they prepare the dispositional reports, the parent agency treatment plan, case service plan, those sorts of documents. Ms. Hansel, is there anything else that we can do today?
I don't believe so, sir.
Mr. Sommerfeld?
Just that I would ask Ms. Hansel to forward the factual basis so that all attorneys could see it in writing, and then we will forward it to the court. And if we could all agree that that would be attached and made part of the record today for respondent Ms. Self's plea today.
I will do so. Thank you.
Thank you very much. The court will look forward to receiving that. That's all for today then. Thank you very much. Appreciate your assistance. The court will be in recess on this case.
Sure. But yeah, she's going to vehemently deny any reconciliation or that they're together. There's times where she avoids conflict, and I think he's just taking that as a presumption or that they're together, or I don't know if she's appeasing him or whatnot, but her testimony is going to be that they are not living together. They have not reconciled.
Tyler Lee.
All right, Mr. Lee, can I have you raise your right hand and be sworn in for me? You swear to tell the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth, so help you God?
I do.
Thank you. You may put your hand down. Ms. Coates, is the state ready to resume?
Yes, Your Honor.
Mr. Bergman, are you and your client ready to resume?
Yes, Your Honor.
Mr. Lee, are you ready to go forward today?
Yes.
Then, Ms. Coates, I will have you pick back up where we left off. I think, well, we may need to just start over since we've had parties conferring. So, Ms. Coates, can you update the court on the record where we stand currently?
Yes, Your Honor. I believe the parties are in agreement that child support and medical support will remain the same, which is $209 for child support, medical being $113. Ms. Perez continue carrying health insurance through another source. The parties are not in agreement with regards to conservatorship, Your Honor. Ms. Perez is asking for sole managing, and Mr. Lee is asking for joint managing. Ms. Perez is asking for no geographic restriction, Your Honor, as she will be starting school. I believe Mr. Lee is asking for a geographic restriction, so that's an issue as well. Ms. Perez is still asking for 11 months of retroactive child support with no credit. I believe Mr. Lee is contesting that. I believe he's going to testify that he has financially helped. And I believe the parties are still in agreement with regards to the visitation, Your Honor, that I previously stated that Your Honor previously ordered, which was the 1st, 3rd, and 5th Saturdays and the 1st, 3rd, and 5th Sundays between 9 a.m. to 12 p.m. for up to 1 hour. Those will be supervised by Ms. Perez or the maternal grandmother or another adult of their choosing. Parties to continue communicating on app close. And I believe that's everything, Your Honor. Oh, and court costs to be paid by Mr. Lee is what the state is asking for.
All right. Ms. Coates, are you ready to begin questioning? Or Mr. Bergman, did you have anything to add?
With regards to the status, the summary of the parties right now, no, Your Honor. But if I was to begin questioning, I know I was questioning my client when Mr. Lee entered. I would just ask that I question Mr. Lee first to get an understanding of what his agreements would be.
All right, Ms. Coates, do you have questions for Mr. Lee, or would you defer to Mr. Bergman?
I'll defer to Mr. Bergman, Your Honor.
All right, go ahead, Mr. Bergman.
Tyler, can you just state your full name for the record, please?
Tyler Lee, Tyler Richard Lee.
And right now, are you currently working anywhere?
I'm not, no. Well, I do a few side jobs just to pay the child support for now, but
Okay, and what are those side jobs?
I work for my mom sometimes. She's got a cleaning business and she knows a few people that need more help with other cleaning jobs. So I've been doing that just to
Okay.
just to be able to pay the child support.
So how do you get paid? By the day, by the hour, by the job?
By the job.
And what is that? How much is that?
It depends on what the job is. It's not anything.
So give me an idea of a day's work for you. What's that involve on pay wise? You get 2 jobs, pay X amount of dollars. Can you give me any kind of detail on that?
The last job I did, it was 4 or 5 days of cleaning the outside of a house, the walls and the windows and the gutters and stuff like that. So
And how much you get paid?
it's just odd jobs like that. I think that one was 600 something, because I remember I needed to pay 2 months worth of child support. So
You got paid $600 for
six
cleaning,
something, I'm not sure how much.
but at least $600. Is that correct?
Yeah, at least, yeah.
And that took you 4 or 5 days.
Yeah.
So that's about $120 a day is what you're making.
No. That's like I said, it's just an odd job. It's not every week.
But for that job, you made about $120 a day, correct?
Something like that, yeah.
Okay. And then your
It's not
work
consistent though. It's not.
fair enough. And then your work history before that, where did you work at?
I worked at Cargill. It's a animal feed factory.
How long you worked there for?
2 years.
And before that, where'd you work at?
Before that, I just the jobs I had before that weren't very long. A few months at most.
Did you work Cargill for a consistent 2 years?
Yes, yeah, I was there for 2 years.
How much you get paid there?
18.25 an hour.
And then I think we talked about this last time, and before you came in the hearing, we were talking about some of your mental health history. Do you feel okay discussing that with the court?
Yeah, that's totally fine.
What happened where you were were you recently checked into a mental health facility for a period of time?
Yeah, that was a whole thing
When was that?
last year.
Can you be more specific? When last year?
I don't remember the exact date. I'm sure she's told you though what the date was.
Mr. Lee, the court is not aware of whatever might have been discussed in the breakout rooms, so we're on the record for your formal hearing. So we need as much information as you have, the month or the general time of year. You need to be as specific as possible, please.
Okay. I mean, I don't remember though the exact date.
Do you remember the month?
No. I think it was towards the end of the year. Actually, no, it was.
I think Ms. Perez testified earlier today that she was 7 months pregnant at the time. Does that help you remember?
Yeah.
Okay. What do you remember using that information?
I think it was like February, somewhere around February. For sure.
Oh, thank you. Any more questions, Mr. Bergman?
Yes, Your Honor. For you. How long were you there for?
I think it was like 5 days, pretty sure. But as soon as I got there, the doctor did say that I don't belong there and that I was going to be released earlier. But for some reason, like, they weren't letting anyone leave. But my mom was calling them like every day to try to get me to let them let me out of there, because the doctor had said that I don't even belong there in the first place. So I'm just going to put that out there.
What was the name of the place?
I don't know.
What was the reason for you going there?
Me and Aaliyah had gotten into an argument, and I said that my life felt like it wasn't worth living at the time, but I never said I was going to end my life or anything like that. So the cops had just taken me there based off of what she told them.
And right now, do you get any kind of treatment for mental health?
No, I don't.
Have you been diagnosed with any kind of mental health?
No, I haven't.
And you recall an incident where you were present with the child and on your phone, and the child's present, and the child was in a walker, and you shoved the child away from you while you're on the phone. Do you remember that?
What? No,
Yeah.
I don't. I don't remember that. No, I don't.
Okay. Your testimony that never happened.
That never happened.
Last time we were here, you agreed to do a parenting class, correct?
I did. Yeah.
And you have not done that parenting class, correct?
No, I haven't because I was trying to find one that was free and accepted by.
The simple question, you did not do it, correct? I'll pass witness, Your Honor.
Ms. Coates, any questions for Mr. Lee?
Yes.
Go ahead.
All right. So, Mr. Lee, how come you were not able to finish or proceed with the parenting class that Judge Simmons had ordered?
I was trying to explain, like, I couldn't find one that was free because there was some that were free, but it also said it needed to be accepted by, like the Attorney General, Texas, I guess. So I just couldn't find one, and then I got busy and.
I don't think the order had any requirements except that it be completed. And so with the results being, you were supposed to turn in the results to the AG's email address.
Well, on the email it said it was required, or it had to be accepted by something. So I don't know. I was confused. But.
You just need to submit proof that you did it. The
Okay.
order that Judge Vickers signed simply says the parties shall take a free online parenting class, turn over a certificate of completion to the office of the attorney, should say Attorney General, and the email address where you can send it. Did you read the order, sir?
Yes, I read the order.
What else, Ms. Coates? Any more questions?
Yes.
ahead.
Mr. Lee, you're asking to be joint managing conservator, is that correct?
Yes.
And do you understand what that means?
Everything's split 50-50 as far as having rights, I guess.
So it essentially means you and Miss Lee have a certain set of rights together, and that she must consult you on some decisions with regards to health, education, and welfare. However, she does get final say. Is that what you're asking for?
Yeah, that's completely fine. I'd rather have that than like no say at all.
And have you been involved with regards to Silas and his education, his health? Do you go to his appointments?
I've gone to a few, not every one of them. More recently, I have been, yeah.
So do you know like his doctors? Does he go to daycare? Do you know his teachers' names at daycare?
Yeah, no, he doesn't go to daycare, and I've met his doctors before.
And does Silas have any health issues?
Nothing serious, you know.
Okay. Nothing serious, but he has some health issues.
Like I don't know what you mean by health issues. Is he sick right now, or
Has he been diagnosed with ADHD or ADD,
No.
autism,
nothing like that?
no asthma or anything like that?
No.
So you always been involved when it comes to his education, his welfare, health, things like that. Have you reached out to Ms. Perez to know how he's doing physically, emotionally, mentally?
Yeah, yes. I ask her a lot of the time how he's doing.
Okay. Have you taken Silas to appointments by yourself?
No, I've never taken him anywhere by myself.
All right. Now, Mr. Lee, are you aware that Ms. Perez is going to be starting school in UT Austin?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Okay. Which means Ms. Perez and your son would be moving to UT Austin. Is that a problem?
No. Considering she asked me to move with her as well, so I'm not sure.
I understand that Ms. Perez would be living in a dorm, so
Yeah.
only Silas would be allowed. So,
Well,
Are
this is
you-
just what she's asking. She asked me, so I don't know.
well, then is it your intention to move to Austin?
But that was part of the plan, yeah.
Okay.
All right, I'm going to interrupt here. Mr. Lee, what is the plan?
Well, we recently got back together, so I don't know if she said
When
that
was
or not.
this?
Sometime last month, I think.
And what does that mean?
That means I've been seeing her and I've been seeing my son more than normal.
Are the two of you staying overnight together?
Yes. I mean, I'm at her
Where?
house right now, so
You're at Miss Perez's house currently?
yeah.
Mr. Bergman, were you aware of this?
Your Honor, he got in a fight with his mother this morning, and so he's staying at a guest house, but it was just this morning. And
Okay, sorry to interrupt, but I have no idea where that story came from. That never happened. So I don't know who
What
came up with
never
that.
happened?
I
You're
never
there.
I never got into an argument with my mom at all. So I don't know where that
So,
came from.
so your testimony is you're staying at Miss Perez's home as her significant other currently.
Yes, but I'm not living here. I'm just here.
How long have you been staying there?
We went on a vacation for like 3 days this weekend, and then I was here like 2 days before that, so I'd say almost a week probably.
Are the two of you sharing a bedroom at night? And are you still working for your mom?
Here and there.
When was the last time you did that?
I think,
Okay.
last week.
And so what town are you staying in with Miss Perez right now? Just the city.
Livernia.
So, Mr. Lee, tell me what you think the future plan is for you and Miss Perez and the child.
Well, from what I was hoping was that we'd
Not what you were hoping, what you thought the agreement was between yourself and Miss Perez. What did you all discuss and decide?
that we were going to live together in Austin while she goes to college.
So if she's living in a dorm where you're not allowed, how is that going to work?
She told me I was going to be able to live with her, so I'm not sure.
And what about child support and financial support and all of that? Are you planning to get a job in Austin?
Yes. I've never had a problem with paying like the child support. Like I'm okay with that. I just don't know like if we were to be in a relationship and I have a job and then say he's on my health insurance, how I would still have to pay some amount.
If you obtained employment with health insurance available for the child, you can submit proof of that insurance to the Attorney General's office, and then they can update your case accordingly. But if the two of you are planning to be living together for the foreseeable future, I'm not sure why we're having a contested hearing about any of this. Ms. Coates, is this a surprise to you?
No, Your Honor. I'll let Mr. Bergman get into it. I didn't want to explain ex parte.
All right, Mr. Bergman, what is your understanding of the situation?
Your Honor, my understanding is I think Mr. Lee is confused. I think he has a hard time understanding most situations here. But my understanding of my client is that he needed to play, or he got in an argument with his mom, and he went to my client's guest house. I asked if they reconciled. She says no, that's not the case. She mentioned moving to UT, and he brought up the issue of, well, it'd be hard for him to do visitation. So she said, well, you can move closer to Austin. And
Wow.
she made it clear.
Mr. Lee, you can respond in a moment. Please don't interrupt.
Okay.
She made it clear that she's going to be staying on campus and where the child can stay, but Mr. Lee would not be able to permit it to live there. But I think he's taking it and perceiving it as, okay, she wants me to move in with her when she says you can move closer. But yeah, she's going to vehemently deny any reconciliation or that they're together. There's times where she avoids conflict, and I think he's just taking that as a presumption or that they're together, or I don't know if she's appeasing him or whatnot, but her testimony is going to be that they are not living together. They have not reconciled.
Parties go on vacation together this past weekend?
I don't know about that.
Ms. Perez?
We went to my friend's lake house in Crawford.
And were you and Mr. Lee sharing a bedroom the whole time?
Yes.
Well, I can
My parents were also in the room.
Tell me again, Ms. Perez?
My parents were also in the room.
Were you and Mr. Lee sharing a bed? So there was 2 beds in 1 bedroom.
Mhm.
Okay. Well, I can see how Mr. Lee might be confused about the status of your relationship or the circumstances. How many nights has he stayed at your house since then?
Since the
weekend trip.
one?
Are you all sharing a room there too?
Yes.
Apparently things are not as they seem. So, when are you supposed to move to Austin, Ms. Perez?
Middle of August. I have to be there by like the 20th.
August 20th?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, right. Well, at this time, I don't see, I will enter further temporary orders, and you all can come back here before you move to Austin and see what the situation is at that time. for now, Mr. Lee, given the fact that he's essentially residing in the home with the child, I actually don't see any to enter any new orders at this time.
That's what I was going to suggest, Your Honor, that the parties have temporary orders and there's a modification. I can always file a modification. Since the change of circumstance, she lets me know, I'll file something and we'll go from there.
All right. So Mr. Bregman, are you asking me to finalize the temporary orders previously entered, or my inclination is to just extend the temporary orders and do status or bring everyone back prior to her departure, prior to Ms. Perez moving?
I would, I don't know if we can finalize the temporary orders because there's some issues that are reserved in there, but
Mhm.
I think probably just not going forward today and relying on these orders. And then if there's a change in circumstances, I can file something, but I don't know if we need a status hearing or I'm fine either way with a status or a hearing or without a status hearing. I can set something myself.
Ms. Coates, do you put in what the calendar is in August before the 20th for this county?
Yes, Your Honor, I think it would be best if we just reset and come back. If Your Honor is okay with adding an extra case on August 11th, we have 8 cases that day. So we could do August 11th.
All right, we'll do that. Mr. Lee, if you want to have any additional visitation rights in the event that you and Ms. Perez do split up, then you need to go ahead and complete that parenting class as ordered in your prior order. All right, so I will reset this matter to August 11th at 9 a.m. by Zoom. See you all again that day.
This hearing shows how complicated custody and support disputes can become, especially when the parent's relationship status itself is unclear. With questions about relocation, conservatorship rights, and retroactive support still unresolved, the judge decided to keep the current temporary orders in place and revisit the case closer to the mother's planned move to Austin. Family court cases like this often take multiple hearings before a final decision is made, especially when major issues affecting a child's future are involved. If you enjoy real courtroom breakdowns like this and want to follow more cases as they unfold, make sure to subscribe to the channel and turn on notifications so you don't miss the next video.